What do you know about Marvel Snap?
I don't know anything. I mean, I know it's got Marvel, and I know you Snap, I think. I don't really know why they call it Snap, actually.
Okay, so you haven't like played it ever? You haven't looked at the cards?
I have not played it, no. Can you teach me how to download it after this?
Yeah. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you some cards, and you're just gonna tell me if you think they're good or bad based on your experience with card games. I feel like you're really good at card games, right? In general?
I play Hearthstone. That's my job.
In Snap, there is power, which is on the upper right, and then there is energy, which is on the top left. It's kind of like just attack and mana in Hearthstone. So this guy costs 5, and he has 9 power. There are 6 turns in Marvel Snap. Do you know anything about the lanes? I feel like this is kind of much more complex than Hearthstone.
I don't know anything about the lanes, and I don't know how much health or what everybody has or a lane has or anything.
There are 3 lanes, and you have to win 2 lanes. So you're basically trying to put power in each lane. It doesn't matter if you win 1 lane by 1,000,000. You just need to win 2 lanes. A simple card. This is one of the starting introductory cards. I know it's really hard to judge because you know absolutely nothing about it.
Yeah, I mean, with something like this, like without any text and just being like pure stats, you kind of have to know what the rate of stats you get for like the energy spent or the mana spent. Without knowing that, I don't really know. But I would say he looks like he should be kind of powerful. My guess is he's not very good because you said he's a starter card and he doesn't have any text. And typically cards like that are not that good in card games.
Yeah, okay, yeah, he's pretty bad. He's pretty awful. He's useful maybe in some decks in the future, but yeah, as a starter card, you probably use him, but he's kind of like a tutorial sort of thing. Good job, Brad.
My reputation precedes me.
Next card is Quicksilver. He has 2 power and he's 1 energy, right? He starts in your opening hand. In Marvel Snap, there is no mulligan. You don't get to mulligan cards away. Your deck is 12 cards. This is basically a card that is a 1-drop you always have to play on turn 1, meaning you never float any mana, ever.
How many cards are in your hand?
A maximum of 7. You get 3 cards and then you draw. So I guess you have 4 on your first turn. The average stat for a 1 energy card is about 2.
I would imagine this is a good card.
Okay. So in Hearthstone, mulligan's very important, right? And I think maybe, especially in Arena, like not floating is generally a good thing. Like if this card was in Arena, it'd be pretty good, right?
Yeah.
To always have a consistent 1-drop that you drew on turn 1 would just be really, really strong.
Yeah.
Basically, in Marvel Snap, since there's no mulligan, they put this card in here to make players feel better about not having a mulligan. So you could always have the turn 1 play. This card, it's really bad. It's really bad. Okay, it's not terrible in the beginning, and there are some use cases where maybe you want to use Quicksilver, but he's basically in there to make people not complain about having the mulligan. Other than that, he's not good. There are better.
Look, I don't play Marvel Snap. I'm gonna start playing, and I'm gonna run this guy. I'm gonna beat you with Quicksilver.
I've watched a lot of like Hearthstone players. They start playing Snap and they're like, I love Quicksilver. And when I started playing Snap, I thought Quicksilver was the shit. I was like, this card I'm putting in every deck. It's so good. I always have a turn 1 play. Why wouldn't you have this card in your deck? The thing is, you don't always want to do something on turn 1 because sometimes you want to wait. You don't want to deploy all your resources immediately, and you want to put them in different lanes. You kind of want to see, oh, my opponent played the left lane. I'm going to play the right lane, stuff like that. So going first is not very important.
Gotcha. That's actually good. That's one of the biggest flaws of Magic in Hearthstone is it's so punishing to go second most of the time.
This next card is America Chavez. She is 6 energy and 9 power. You always draw this card on turn 6 and not before. So it's kind of similar to Quicksilver, but it's the opposite, right? It never starts in your opening hand, and you always draw it on the last.
You kind of have to know the rates, what you're getting, like per energy spent, like how much power you're looking to get, and sort of what other kind of cards could sort of supplement this. Yeah, I think something like this seems like good. It seems like a nice idea again to sort of mitigate that feeling that you get the wrong card at the wrong time, and you also plan ahead for it, right? So you could be like, okay, I know I'm gonna get this. I know I can add 9 power this turn. I think there's probably some value in that as well, strategically. I would say this is probably the best card we've seen so far.
Yeah, absolutely. This card is really good. And I was trying to throw you off, showing you the Quicksilver. You know, starts in opening hand, it's bad. This is always drawn on turn 6. It's a good amount of power. 9 is solid. There are other 6-cost cards that have like 12 power. There's a card called the Hulk. He has 12 power. So Chavez is 3 less than that, but she's consistent. She's reliable. And the fact is, we have 12-card decks, right? Putting this in your deck almost makes it an 11-card deck, which just means it's going to be very consistent. It feels so bad if you're playing a Hearthstone deck and you're never drawing your key card because it's a 30-card or 40-card deck. The fact that you can always see the cards you want is just really, really nice and refreshing in Snap. So, you know, you're playing from an 11-card deck. You're going to draw most of your cards. There's going to end up being, 2-3 cards you don't draw. And also, you can always play around. You know you're getting this card on 6. Next card is Yondu. This is a 1 energy, 2 power, and his effect is on reveal, remove the top card of your opponent's deck. So on reveal is basically once a card shows itself, it's like a battle cry. So he basically burns a card in your opponent's deck, a 12-card deck.
Yeah, typically I've always felt like people always overvalue this type of effect, and it always feels really bad when people play a card like this in card games, and you see, you know, a card you wanted go away, but you get a different card. Like you just get with the next card underneath it. I also think it's a cool concept for the game. If there are a lot of cards like that, like you always draw this on this, or like, you know, if you want to play it on that specific turn to deny your opponent that possibility. That's actually a cool concept, but I imagine unless you can replace this, like if he drew you a card or whatever, like if it was free or if he generated a little more value, something that would probably be better. My guess is crap. I'm going hard on crap here.
Okay. That's it. Final answer?
Final answer is crap.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. He's I think he's also like noob bait in a way. I think a lot of new players really like Yondu. If you're playing Hearthstone, you know, like burning a card doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
This next card is Jubilee, 4 energy, 1 power with on reveal, which is battle cry. Play a card from your deck at this location. So basically, you might be familiar with the Hearthstone card Barnes.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Yeah, Mind Games. Is that what that card was called in Hearthstone? 4 mana, just like reveal something random from your opponent's deck. I think it was. So I would imagine that a card like this is fun, but not good. But like from my deck, so you could like go for a high roll, or if you, I'm assuming, let's say you draw a good curve, then it's probably a little better. You stack your deck to put a couple of heavy cards in. I look at the card and I think I would probably play with it, and then after a few times when it burns you, you're like, okay, forget it. I'll take consistency.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate. This card is actually pretty solid though, and I think I see more of it than I had expected to. You basically, as I said before, turn 1 is not that important, and sometimes turn 2 is also not that important either. So if you're playing a Jubilee deck, you basically stack it with really heavy stuff, like the Hulk, which I talked about before, which had 12 power. All these other cards that have like 12 power, 9 power, like America Chavez can be in there, the card we looked at before. You play this on 4, and you're hoping it basically just becomes a 5-6 drop, which it'll often do. But yeah, it'll burn you sometimes. But
so 6 is the most expensive mana cost?
I can only recall one card called Death. Death gets discounted by like how many cards die. So I'm going to show you another card soon that it's a big boy, but I want to get your opinion on this before the big boy.
Sure. I went into this thinking I would make jokes and stuff, but no, my card mastery reputation's on the line. I have to get these right.
No, you don't have to get them right. This is just for fun.
Well, I mean, I have no choice but to think about them, and I mean, I don't know. You said I didn't get it right.
Did you think Barnes is good?
Barnes was a good. I look at things in an arena perspective, right? So it's like Barnes was an okay arena card, but it was like a busted constructed card because you could build your whole deck around him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he got nerfed, and I think he still sees play at 5 mana in Hearthstone.
Yeah. Okay. He's 5 mana right now?
I think so.
Oh wow. I don't play like Wild or anything, but I just remember Barnes being OP, like pulling Yasiraj. But yeah, constructed very different than arena. I'll show you the big boy.
Show me the big boy.
I'll show you. All right.
Oh
Infinaut.
my god.
Okay, so he's a 6 energy, 20 power. But if you played a card last turn, you can't play this. So
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess it's getting a little trickier to determine whether these are good or not. I would think a card. Okay, so this is, hear me out. I think a card like this seems bad. I'm gonna say it's good because maybe not playing a card isn't as punishing. That's my guess.
okay. So Infinaut is, I think he's actually really good in Pool 2. You don't really know much about Pool 1, Pool 2, Pool 3. But in Pool 2, Infinaut is actually pretty good because you can Jubilee him out. And also you can kind of just do nothing on turn 5 because there's another card called Sunspot, which you have no idea about. But he basically gets stronger if you don't spend energy.
Okay. Like every energy you don't spend?
Yeah.
So like if on turn 2 you spend 1, he's going to still get stronger?
He's going to get 1 stronger.
Okay,
On turn
gotcha.
3, if you do nothing, he gets 3 stronger. Or on turn 3, if you do 2 energy, you're left with 1. Basically, any mana you float goes to his power.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the strategy behind looking at a card like this, you'd have to play a bit. Like, you'd have to get punished by it, and then you'd have to kind of like adapt around it.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say exactly. Like, I mean, I would have no idea what I would do.
Yeah.
But yeah, he looks cool.
This card is Destroyer. 6 energy and 16 power. On reveal, destroy your other cards. Okay, so when you play this guy, his battle cry is destroy your own board. Kind of like Deathwing.
Like from all lanes, all cards that are in all lanes.
Only your cards, not your opponent's cards.
But in all 3 lanes.
Yes, correct.
Okay. So yeah, I would say on its surface, it seems like crap. He comes down late. He destroys things. He ruins all my progression. Oh wait, hold on, I'm changing my mind because then my opponent. So I play something, and then my opponent counters it, and then I destroy everything, and I have more space to play things.
But this is usually coming down on your last turn.
Oh. Okay. Going back again. He stinks.
He stinks.
Yeah. Big stinker.
Big stinker. All right. So this card is probably one of the best cards in the game right now, because
we're all just taking your opinion here. I don't know if I can trust these.
He's so strong. 6 energy, 16 power is, I think, the best you can do, aside from Infinaut. But Infinaut has that huge condition. So Destroyer, he beats Hulk, he beats Giganto, which you haven't even seen those cards ever. But he's really good. You just make one lane really strong, and then you protect it with a card called Armor, which makes it so your cards in that lane cannot get destroyed. And then you play this guy on his own in a separate lane, just standalone 16 power, and it's hard to beat because it's just such a big boy. All right, this next card is Sera. She's 5 energy and 5 power, and she has ongoing. Cards in your hands cost 1 less with a minimum of 1.
It's probably synergistically dependent on having access to card draw, because like the card immediately reminds me of in Hearthstone is Emperor Thaurissan, where sometimes it was great if you had 10 cards in your hand and you could take advantage of the mana discount. Otherwise, if you have an empty hand, it's really if it's poorly statted, it wouldn't be great. I think I would guess that this card is good. That's my guess. Good, but not great.
Okay, I would say it's pretty dang good. Yeah, this card's really good. Basically, you hold a bunch of 2 and 3 cost cards in your hand. You play this on 5, and then on turn 6, which is your last turn, those 3 cost cards cost 2, those 2 cost cards cost 1, and you're just able to put a ton of power on the last turn that your opponent cannot really play around because they don't know how much power you've put on any lane. So you're able to kind of react to what they've put on the board, but they're not expecting you to drop 20 plus power. Like,
yeah,
you know what?
You're making me want to play Marvel Snap. This is horrible.
It's fun. We should try it. I think you'd enjoy it.
Yeah, we'll play it. This makes me want to download Snap. You can edit this part out, but they didn't sponsor me, and I didn't get in the closed beta either, and everyone got in the closed beta, so I was so annoyed. So I was like, out of spite, Marvel spite, I wasn't playing it. But Hearthstone is boring right now, so maybe I should just play it.
Should I edit that out?
Please, please.
I feel like that's funny.
Bedbroad.
I feel like that's really funny.
People need to know the true RedBeard experience. I'm a bitter, spite-filled old man.